tries to speak on that level, you know. But it talks about the phenomenon of craving. And the big book on page XXIV, which is 24, the doctor's opinion, says an alcoholic has an allergy to alcohol. An allergy is an abnormal reaction to any food, liquid, or substance. If 9 out of 10 people have one reaction and 1 out of 10 people have a different reaction, then the reaction of the 1 out of the 10 is abnormal. It also says on page 26 that the action of the alcohol on the alcoholic is a manifestation of an allergy, that the phenomenon of craving is limited to this class and never occurs in the average temperate drinker. A phenomenon is something that you can see but can't explain. The allergic types can never safely use alcohol in any form at all. Then on page 22, we know that while the alcoholic keeps away from the drink, as he may do for months or years, he reacts much like other men. We're equally positive that once he takes any alcohol whatsoever in his system, something happens, both in the body and the mental sense, which makes it virtually impossible for him to stop. This includes substances that contain alcohol like mouthwash, cold remedies, some chocolates, foods prepared with alcohol, etc. Your body doesn't know if you're having a drink or taking NyQuil for a cold. It only senses alcohol and begins to process it. It also says on page 28 that all the different classifications of alcoholics have one symptom in common. They cannot start drinking without developing the phenomenon of craving. The phenomenon may be the manifestation of an allergy, which differentiates these people and sets them apart as a distinct entity. GoForth, MD, who at the time had 9 years' experience specializing in the treatment of alcoholics and drug addicts, wrote in the late 1930s. He called it a phenomenon of craving because at the time there was no way to study metabolism. Since then, science has proven the theory correct.
Hello, God. What's up? Yes,
The following is an explanation of what happens when alcoholics put alcohol into their bodies and how it is a completely different experience compared to non-alcoholics. No wonder why non-alcoholics can't relate and make statements like, "Can't you do 1 or 2 drinks?" It shows why alcoholics can use their willpower against everything except alcohol. Alcoholics make up about 12% of the body of the alcoholic is physically different. Now this is where it gets where you couldn't say anything like this in an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, because it talks about the body. The liver and the pancreas of the alcoholic process alcohol at 1/3 to 1/10 the rate of a normal pancreas and liver. Now, as alcohol enters the body, it breaks down into various components, one of which is acetate. We know now that the acetate triggers a craving for more acetate. In a normal drinker, the acetate moves through the system quickly and exits, but that doesn't happen in an alcoholic. In alcoholics, the acetate of the first drink is barely processed out, so by staying in their body, it triggers a craving for more acetate. The alcoholic then has a second drink, now adding to most of the acetate of the first drink, and that makes them want to drink twice as much as a normal drinker. So they have another. Then having almost 3 times the craving as a normal drinker, they have another. You can see from that point how alcoholics have no control over how much they drink. The craving cycle has begun and they have no choice but to keep drinking. Once the acetate accumulates in the body, and that begins to happen with only 1 drink, they will crave it. And how many times does one alcoholic think it would be nice to have just 1 drink to relax, but has many more? Now you see why, and this can never change. On top of that, so far it's not bad enough, alcohol is a poison because it destroys human tissues. The two organs that alcohol damages most are the liver and the pancreas. So the more the alcoholic drinks as time passes or doesn't drink, because the liver and pancreas also deteriorate naturally as we age, the less their bodies process the acetate. That is why alcoholism is a progressive fatal illness. Bill W. says on page 30, we are convinced that a man